We've got some incredible content upcoming, but let me first tell you about the best stuff that we do. It's on redmenplus.com. If you upgrade, you get all of our stuff. If you like our videos, if you like our podcast, and you want one place to watch and consume it all, redmenplus.com is the place. Get yourself over there, show your support for me and the rest of the team, and we will hand loads and loads and loads of incredible content in return.
Hey everyone, another weekend, another disappointing, spirit-crushing, shitty performance from Liverpool Football Club as this time they crash out of the FA Cup at the hands of Brighton by 2-1, despite some promising signs, particularly in the first half. Liverpool being more resolute, harder to play against, harder to play through, being more combative in a general sense, actually creating some decent opportunities. And Harvey Elliott taking his goal really, really well. Liverpool pegged back by a fluke of a goal, of course, but I mean, you sound incredibly bitter when you say it after the fact. But yeah, heavily deflected Tarek Lamptey shot from miles out from Dunk, taking it the other way past Alisson. And then right at the death, Liverpool just not being switched on enough to what Brighton were doing from the set piece. Stupin being free at the back post, then lobbing it over to the back stick, some good play that forces Andy Robertson out of the equation, and then it's an absolutely stupendous piece of skill and finish from Mitoma to win the game for Brighton. And ultimately, we're sat here where I can say with a reasonable degree of confidence that it was a much improved Liverpool performance from the last time against Brighton. There were certainly positives to be taken from that, but I can also sit here and say, did Liverpool deserve to go out the FA Cup? Probably, yeah, as well, because they're the agents of their own demise time and time again. Substitutions which made the team worse. They shouldn't do, and I think every one of us would look at the logic and say a world where you bring in Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Darwin Núñez into a game of football, and particularly when you bring it off like an 18-year-old kid in midfield and you bring off a 19-year-old lad being played out of position on the left wing, that should be, you're putting better players onto the pitch by all accounts. But no, not this season. The laws of those such things don't apply to Liverpool this season. Absolute nonsensical season for the Reds once again. And yeah, Fabinho, shocking, should have been sent off. Very lucky not to be on VAR. It was a bad one. It was a really bad one at Evan Ferguson, and I just wonder how it was clearly accidental and how apologetic he was. Maybe that's played into the referee's thinking. Doesn't really matter. It was shocking from him. Shocking first touch, got us into all kinds of trouble and nearly gets sent off. Darwin Núñez was abysmal when he came on, could not pass through a red shirt, and when he tried to, he hit it at 1,000 miles an hour. Just exactly where their balance didn't want the ball to be played to them, etc., etc. And look, to single out those two players feels harsh, but Liverpool weren't great in the second half. They weren't. They didn't build on the positivity from the first half, and maybe there's a degree to which you can say conceding a daft goal when it feels like things are going your way. The psychological weakness again of the side, maybe. Who knows? All I know is it's disappointing. It's incredibly frustrating. It's a bit sad as well, to be perfectly honest. I'd love to be able to point a finger at it, and doubtless there'll be fingers pointed galore. And you guys are live with me in the comments. Feel free to tell me where the fingers should be pointed on that game. But Liverpool have got footballers there. They've got good footballers there. They've got good footballers to bring on. I can understand the frustration, and I feel I can certainly understand how confusing it must be for Liverpool's management team, because the players that we had available to us should have been more than capable of winning this game, and they didn't again. So the holders are out. Right, you can chat with me if you're a YouTube member. You can use the live chat. You can tweet us at the Redmen TV. If you're a club legend, you can use the Discord chat for that. Let's start with YouTube and the app. These results get more frustrating every week. A trophyless season and perhaps a top 6 finish if we're fortunate. Just not good enough for this club. Completely agree on that, mate. Absolutely. I mean, look, we're left with a world where the only trophy Liverpool can actually technically win is the European Cup. And look, it's in Istanbul. That's the thing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just where the game of football is. Just because we won it randomly once in Istanbul has no bearing on us being able to do that again, because you've got to get there. Liverpool were shite in the league in 04-05 as well. We didn't finish in the top 4 that season as well. There's loads of parallels to be drawn, but right now it just feels like a stupid, childish storybook fairy tale story that we're trying to force into what is just a god-awful season for the Reds so far. Yeah, they're going to end up trophyless unless they book their ideas up in a big way. There's a huge fight on now, and FA Cup was a good thing. It was a potentially really good thing for Liverpool. Win some football matches, potentially win a piece of silverware, keep things ticking over. Well, that's gone now. That's gone. You've got no choice now. There's no more distractions, and the problem is that this team could actually probably do with some excuses, and there's no more excuses left. There's only football matches that now need to be won, and very little confidence that they have the ability to do it, unfortunately. Brian Glow says, it feels like we're saying the same thing every week. Thought Núñez wasn't great when he came on, and all the front three had a game to forget. However, Elliott played well today and scored a good goal. I thought Elliott was all right. I think he got better as the half wore on. He created a good chance for Salah, which he missed. He takes his chance really well. So sounds, if you're playing in the front three, score goals and make chances, and in that regard, nobody really did much more than that, to be perfectly honest. So fine, yeah, Elliott took his goal, good on him. I just saw a tweet that he's the highest scoring teenager in all competitions in the country this season, which is promising, if nothing else. He's a good player. He is a good player. I disagree. I thought Gakpo had a good game. I think inevitably we're looking for someone to come in and score goals, and that's kind of our biggest problem right now. Is Liverpool have spent approaching £200 million on forwards in the last 12 months, and here we are. We haven't seemingly bought guys who score lots and lots of goals. Diaz doesn't score lots of goals. I mean, obviously he did in Porto, and Darwin Núñez scored a good amount of goals at Benfica, and Gakpo scored a good amount of goals for PSV. But I'm talking, at this level, it's just different. Sometimes it works out, and loads and loads and loads of times it doesn't. Loads more forwards come into the Premier League and don't hit the 20-goal mark than actually come in and do. It's a very rare thing to find someone who does that, and we're hoping that like 3 guys we've brought in are all going to do it, and that's where we're really having a struggle at the moment. Liverpool can't put the ball in the back of the net, and the guy who's the best at doing it is miles off it in terms of Mo Salah as well. But Gakpo, I thought he linked play better. I thought he started quietly and he got better as the game wore on. When he's dropping deep into midfield, picking it up and turning things around, very Bobby Firmino-esque, but he's a bit faster and he's taller and he just looks a little bit more. Yeah, his physicality can be improved, but it was encouraging. I really liked seeing that side of his game. Great little give and go link up with James Milner in the second half as well, but it was limited. Our forwards didn't get on the ball anywhere near enough in that second half. When they did, it was in not dangerous positions with loads of Brighton bodies around. Anyway. Luke Burns says, I want us to stop using Darwin on the left. He's not creative like Gakpo, but very dynamic and causes more problems through the centre. This is the Darwin Núñez conundrum, is that he's not good enough to play. If we wanted to maintain our level, Darwin Núñez wasn't good enough to come in and do that. And because you see the level, Erling Haaland's the level. That's the level you want to come in. If you're going to bring a guy in to break up your existing front three, you're going to move Sadio Mane on, then you've got to bring in someone who's going to score 20 goals a season. And I think he can do that, but he's not so clinical that he does it. And the problem is stylistically, he doesn't suit our existing trained style of play. To play as a 9, he's absolutely electric from the left. But again, in this game was weird. We didn't get him in the game at all. We didn't give him opportunities to run people down. He's an odd fit at the moment. He's an uncomfortable fit, and when things aren't going well for it, he looks the biggest sore thumb in our attacking lineup at times. So it's tough. I do want to see him down the left because I want to see him stretch his legs and use his pace. I'm getting very Divock Origi vibes in that regard. Is that if you put him closer to the goal, maybe he'll score a few more goals, but he obviously stylistically suits our normal style of play more to play from the left because he's not very good at knitting the play from the number 9 position is my concern. So you have to change everything you do, and let's be honest, lots of stuff, we've tried that and it hasn't worked particularly well so far this season. Honest answer is I haven't got a fucking clue. He also says Gakpo suits out left or 10 better than 9. Yeah, but 9 is 10 these days anyway. So he might suit the 10, and certainly when he turned round and was running towards goal, that was when he looked really good in that game. More of that. Scott Hawke says Fabinho looks as shot as I've ever seen a player. Makes me angry when he walks on the pitch. But Chetic carrying his work for him should surely make him respond. But then he does that. He's off it. He's miles off it, Fabinho, and I really don't know what the answer is to get him back. If anyone knows what you would do with Fabinho, because you can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. He's there. He's a Liverpool player. He's been a brilliant Liverpool player in recent times as well. We're not that far removed from him being, was talking about him as being one of the best 6s in the world, but he has his Liverpool season has collapsed and it never even got going. He is the one who's fallen off the most. It's forgivable almost with Jordan Henderson because last season he played more games than he'd ever played under Jurgen Klopp. He was the captain. He ran. He gave everything of it, and he's well into his 30s now. He should be having a bit of a tail off. He's in the twilight of his career at a top level footballer. Fabinho's in his prime. It's maddening. Absolutely maddening. Rachel Todd, I just wish some people would get off Gakpo's back. He's so young. Yeah, look, he's a new player. With new players and young players, and he's not young, but he is new. You've got to look at the positives. He's only just starting to settle into the side. I thought his link play was good. I think he performed that role more functionally close to what Roberto Firmino would have done than any other player that we've got at the moment does it. He needs other people to carry him. He needs Mo Salah to play better. Mo Salah, he gets one big chance in that game, and he never looks convincing. He is well off it. Goals cover up a multitude of sins, and Liverpool don't have goals at the moment. And Scott Hawke says, I also think Gakpo played well. Fought for the ball, dropped deep, link play, and brought Mo into the game more than we've seen for weeks. Yeah, exactly. Right, let's move things on. Antonio, whatever's been going on with Fabinho over the course of the season has been shocking. Almost pulled Gerrard today. Yeah, very close, mate. Patrick says we should never play Fabinho or Henderson again. Again? Wow, because they're both dog shite. I don't get why Jurgen is putting a striker on the wing and a winger up front. Again, no incomings, no takeover news. What next? Yeah, look, because we bought Gini Wijnaldum as a winger, and then we played him in midfield, and Adam Lallana was a winger, and we moved him into midfield, and we moved Roberto Firmino was a 10, and we moved into the 9. There's clearly players that we've bought for certain ideas, but it comes back to me the Nunes thing. Nunes feels like he was a striker, feels like we were going to put a lot on him being a striker for us, and have we kind of pulled out on that experiment? I agree, Gakpo's been playing for the left for PSV, so that makes sense, but I understand why they're doing that, because I think we're trying to go back to the tried and tested. I think we've abandoned trying to do something wild and new, and we're just trying to be solid and go back to what we know and reboot the good things that we were doing. But look, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. We need Firmino, we need Jota, or we need Diaz back as well. But yeah, everything else is just a bit weird at the moment. But not to play them again. I mean, that's a bit much, mate. Do you think Jurgen could walk? Says Rachel. Nah, I don't think he will. Because look, ultimately, he knows the situation he's in. It's his mess, and it's Jurgen's mess to clean up. And not all of it's his making. You don't choose players to be injured. You can't do that. And he's playing within the financial restrictions of the ownership group. That is what it is. I'm sure like Jurgen, like all of us, would like him to like there to be more money to be spent. But Jurgen's a realist. He works with what he's got, and he's the manager of Liverpool, and Liverpool are having a fucking stinker of a season. It's his job to get us out. It's his job to get the players together to get us out. I don't think he'll walk away from that, because I think he's got a bit more connection, a bit more pride than that, and he'll trust that no matter what this season looks like, they'll feel like they can reboot it next season. Now, I understand this is so depressing to talk about this in January. I don't want to write the season off. We might have to for our own mental health. Let's just pretend imagine Liverpool are finishing the league 9th and getting knocked out of the Champions League, and then if we finish above and beyond that, maybe that makes us feel a bit better. I know that sounds like loser talk, but the manager's not going to walk, and he's not going to get sacked, and Liverpool are not going to all of a sudden uncover £200 million to spend in January. So yeah, I mean, look, again, and we can protest the ownership if we want, but the club's already up for sale, so there's a lot of wasted energy, a lot of this, and I know this is the worst part of being a fan, is that you kind of have to switch off and just trust that the people are in charge and are going to get the decisions right, and that is really hard. But ultimately, again, because none of us can actually pull on a Liverpool shirt and go and score the goals that win the games for us, it's sad, but that's kind of what footy is. If we go in the games, let's make sure we continue to scream our support and all that. But yeah, it's mad. Michael Sutton, totally abject, no more excuses. Yeah. Andrew Morrison, $8.99. Thank you so much, Andrew. Issue is our top players are way off it in skill and energy. Fab is the example. Benched and came on to improve it, but was nowhere near when he did. Same issue everywhere. You need your top players. Exactly. Let's stop blaming Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones and Carvalho and new signings and Gakpo. The senior lads have got to be better. Mo Salah's got to be better. Fabinho's got to be better. Henderson's got to be better. That's football, isn't it? Scott Hawkes has never been an FSG out-screening bloke, but if they sit on their hands until the transfer window closes and think that's being prudent, they're living on another planet. I know, but this is the problem where we're at, and I agree. Liverpool need fresh legs and fresh energy. But Liverpool need quality. They need quality. we're here already. We were desperately in need of another guy to play in the attack because of the injuries to Diaz and obviously Firmino being out for a bit longer and Jota still being out to February. We needed to go and get another attacker, so they've chosen to do that. And people are slaughtering Gakpo because he's not fitted in perfectly into Liverpool's system immediately. If you think Liverpool buying a midfielder right now is going to solve all our problems, it's not. But that's where we've left ourselves. We do need to go and do someone. They've got a few days left in the transfer window. They could really do going out and buying someone else, another good footballer. But it's mad. It's mad. Again, as ever, you have to kind of preach the long-term view because that's where Liverpool have got it right and other football clubs have got it wrong. Modern football wants it all to be one window at a time, 6 months at a time, judge everything immediately, whereas Liverpool have taken the time, they've breathed, they've allowed things to play out, and it's paid dividends for them. So it might well pay dividends again in the summer, but right now Liverpool are out of the domestic cups and 9th in the league. It's been nice to feel like someone was coming in with some decisive action. It would be nice to feel, I just think it would give everyone a lift. If someone came in and went, you know what, Jürgen, we'll make this work for you. Who do you want? Go and pick someone that you can get. We can get. It's a bit more than it would be. Fine, we'll find a way to make this happen for you, because I think that gives the squad a lift, I think it gives the manager a lift, and I think it gives the fans a lift as well. But look, ultimately Jürgen might be fine with it, because he consistently says that. Aaron Carroll Moran says it's going to be a slog between now and May. Sadly, mad how we've got worse bringing the subs on. Yeah, crazy, wasn't it? Absolutely crazy. Right, I'm going to come back to the YouTube comments in a moment. I'll just do something briefly from Discord and then from Twitter and then back to that as well. Some interesting comments from our club legends. Scottish Red says, sucks right now, but I saw an improvement today. Simply Down says, I think the system that we started with worked really well. It's concerning how we look so unfit, though. And CZ Red says, we lost on a fluke goal and mismanagement on subs. I'm trying to see the positives. Yeah, look, and again, the immediate aftermath of the game is not necessarily the time for reasoned analysis. That'll come. Final word shows for that on Monday. But I can agree with all of those kind of points. Liverpool are not going to overnight become exactly the best of what we've been. We can't be. That we clearly, because if they would, they'd have done it at some point prior to now. Liverpool have got to learn how to grind a bit more. This was not necessarily the perfect example of that, but you know what you want to see is improvements. We've kind of got to judge this as almost like a reboot for Liverpool of like, well, we need to find something to buy into. What I want to see is players committed to the cause. I don't want to see people being run past because they're not putting the work rate in. That we've seemed to have cut out, but we need to do a bit more. I don't think that will be satisfactory to people for very long, which is why we're in such a tough position. So tough. Yeah, really annoying. Simply Down said, Canate looked the monster too, loving to bits. Yeah, I thought Canate had a really good game. Really, really good game. Right, Twitter. Essex Golf Guy says their keeper never had a save to make after we scored an hour of football without going close. Turgid viewing again. Yeah, second half we really didn't kick on, did we? Rob LFC says, God, I hate this season. We have no identity, no real tactics, no one who actually takes the game by the scruff of the neck. We spent 80 million on strikers when our midfield is threadbare. We spent more than that, mate. And the midfield, this is the thing, you know, and then that was actually one of the random points about it, is Liverpool have managed this squad into such an awkward position that we haven't got room to register non-homegrown players at this point. They're going to have to get rid of someone, and therein lies the added complication, or they're going to have to tell someone that they're not registered, which is mad, which again then has a real negative impact on morale. How do you turn around to someone like, I don't even know who it would be. It would be not, I mean, I guess Arthur, you know, again, you're telling him, sorry mate, you're on loan, all the best to that. It's wild, absolutely wild how we've ended up here. Matt Gibbs on air. The subs have been terrible. It's been like that for a while, and they came out worse after half time. You have to question the coaching and management now. Yeah, maybe that. Again, it's wild. I'd love to be able to say it's this or that. I'd love to be able to say it's all the manager, and then you can get rid of the manager, or you can say it's all the owners, get rid of the owners, or you say it's all this player, well, you swap this player out for another player. These are good footballers. I don't care. You know, I know people are really down on the whole thing, but like, we brought on Darwin Núñez, Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, and you might dislike all of them, and they have all had their struggles at various times, or in Fabinho's case, the entirety of this season. But it's mad how you can go from being really good to that bad. It's madness. It's Absolute fucking madness. Matthew Stewart, I'm sorry I don't have any more answers from this. I wish I did. I wish it was as clear cut. This team is an absolute disgrace right now. This is the culmination of not investing properly in the squad. Everyone can see it except FSG, or they do see it and they just don't care. Also, Salah is abysmal at the moment. Looks lost out there. This is early 2010s era grim for LFC at the moment. It definitely feels like that. It feels like we've gone right back to being that side that not even goes between 3rd and 7th. We feel like a team that's between, even if in a perfect run for us, would be at the very best we could ever hope to be as 4th. And really, we're looking at a team that would struggle to get into European places. And that is very mid-2000s when the wheels fell off post the end of Benitez in a big way. And obviously the early days of Brendan Rodgers. That's mad. When it just happens, it happens like that. Yeah, mad. It's absolutely fucking mad. And I do agree with the point. I think... I think the idea that Liverpool have underinvested, I think, is right. I think there was more money that could have been spent, absolutely. But I also, I don't know. I just, it's who I am. I like to look at things from all angles and try and work out not whether things are right or wrong, but try to understand what the logic was that went into things. And Liverpool have done this logic before when they couldn't get the players that they absolutely wanted. They've waited on them, and that's tended to be the right thing to do. But more and more recently, now we're looking at 2 seasons that have potentially been undone by not going all in on getting the player in the position that you needed. It was the COVID season by not getting the centre-half in the summer and having to wait until the next summer for Canate to come. And if it's Bellingham, then, you know, we've potentially fucked an entire season because we've held on. It's like playing Scrabble and going for your big words, holding on because you want to get. You've got your Q or your Z, and you're waiting for those really big, high scoring words. They're going to take big chunks off the scoreboard, and everyone else is just chipping away at it. And all of a sudden, you're left with your hit that you need has to become increasingly bigger. There's not a footballer on earth who's going to come in and take Liverpool from being 9th to being 3rd or 4th in the Premier League. There's not one footballer on the planet who's so good he's going to have that transformative effect on this team. And that goes back to my point. The fucking lads who are at the football club right now, and the management and the manager and the assistant manager and all the coaches, they're the ones who need to drag us out of this shit. They've got us into this mess. They need to get us out. And they probably... There's few better places to be able to do it in the world. They probably will. But right now it looks a huge, ridiculous, almost impossible ask. Right, back over to the live chat. Thank you so much for sticking with us on this one. For my sanity, says Scott Hawks, I'm not sure how many of these mornings of getting up at 4 a.m. to watch this I can deal with. Yeah, and I get that. I do appreciate that people's lives are impacted by this, and that's the problem with football, is we put so much of our happiness onto these lads. And we don't realise it at times, because when they're performing really well, you don't even think about it. But when they're shit, you realise how stupid it is to put your own happiness in the hands of 11 fellas running around kicking a ball. It's mad when you think about it. It's fucking lunacy. Hey, and look, I'm not crying in this in any way, shape or form. But I've seen this for years. Again, 13 years of doing this, where you can have I love what we do. I love the production values of everything, the creativity and the aspect of making content for YouTube is great, and I can be dead proud of what we achieve. And then Liverpool is shit, and it's for nothing, because everyone shouts at us and everyone blames us, and I feel dead miserable, because I am when Liverpool don't win anyway, so it's poo. So yeah, we're all feeling that way. We could really do with Liverpool winning just for our own happiness. Liverpool, do it for us, please. Rachel Todd says, let's get Bellingham and a few more in the summer and go from there for next season. I get that, Rachel, but it's fucking January. That's a very, very miserable way to look at life. And I know most football teams look at football that way, because there's only a tiny handful of football teams that ever actually get to truly compete for silverware. They'll start in the competitions, but the ones who've got any realistic chance of winning are very small indeed. I hate it when we're not one of them. It's fucking rubbish. It's like being an Evertonian, only, with better kits and better general mentality. John Somers says, hi Paul, do you think Gomez has finished at Liverpool? I don't. I think Gomez is fine. I think Gomez is a more than adequate cover for Verge at the moment. I think that Mitoma, I mean, look, it's brilliant. It's absolutely fucking brilliant what he does there. We should have one more at the back post. We do get overloaded on both sides, which is an overall defensive structure issue, maybe. I thought Gomez had a pretty good game today, but then again, when you lose games and you look for people to blame, it's hard to defend defenders. I get that. Luke Burns, on the transfer stuff, transfer and stuff around it. People forget it took Klopp and Co a few years to get us to the top of the 6th, 7th place team. Yeah, absolutely. James Lim says we didn't play that bad. As the song goes, we got to get down to get up again, says Rachel. Go ahead. James Lim just gave away 2 needless free kicks and didn't defend. Yep. Good times will be back, says Neil G. Pink Fluffy Whale says joke club, joke players, joke manager. Wow. Pink Fluffy Whale. Right, can we all just take a moment to say, look, it's worth stressing this, by the way, because I know we do take football dead seriously, and we support a football club where the greatest, the most important manager ever to be at the helm of Liverpool Football Club said, it's not a matter of life or death, it's more important than that. It's life and death is more important than football. So we all need to remember sometimes that if there's nothing we can do about it, we need to find other outlets. And I always talk about this, the Champions League winning season, 2004, 2005, I was working in Sheffield at the time. The games weren't very readily televised and we were fucking rubbish, right? And I had to go, I just had to go and find a 5-a-side team to go and play footy because I needed football in my life, but I needed football that I could control. And that was something. Every one of us needs some element of their lives to find happiness away from Liverpool when Liverpool aren't giving you that happiness. So what I would say to Pink Fluffy Whale is, we don't have a joke club, we don't have joke players, and we don't have a joke manager. You just need someone to go and cuddle you. Go and find someone to give you a nice cuddle, and I promise you'll feel better. And the club players and manager will be better because it's their job to be better, and they've got the ability to be better. I hope. Yeah, Dickie Oy Red says, at least it wasn't a league game. This shit is grim. Yeah, absolutely. And Patrick says, just seen Jürgen said, nothing will happen in this transfer window. Not at all. We needed a midfielder for years separately. FSG are blind to it all and probably didn't even know we played today. I mean, that's fucking horseshit. I don't think you can have it both ways. I think look, Liverpool are given a budget to do stuff. They need to be better at doing stuff. They need to be, Jesus Christ, need a bit more luck with injuries. And again, cut ball down to it. They do need more and they do need better. They need some younger, better quality midfielders. Absolutely, they do. But the lads that are there are still more than capable of winning football matches. They need to get it together. They need to win more football matches. I think in talking about transfers and talking about FSG, you're letting the players off the hook. You're letting the senior footballers and the senior management at Liverpool get away with fucking murder. There's a football game there. Go out and win some football games. They're playing 1 game a week. There's no excuses for not being at it. Now, I will boil it down to this one final point on this. Liverpool conceded a deflected goal to level it up when they were 1-0 up and actually quite in control of that football match. And yes, the defending could have been better and the organisation could have been better, but Mitoma scored a fucking brilliant goal at the back post. So I would inclined just about to take the slight positives from this game rather than absolutely tear my hair out, but it's close and I appreciate anyone who doesn't feel that way. Liverpool have got to get better. They've got to get back to winning Premier League games. That's all that fucking matters now because the FA Cup, ultimately now, the excuse of it's gone, the niceness of going and have a day at Wembley and maybe winning a trophy, all that's fucking gone. All that remains is a fight now to somehow scrape our way into European football places. And if they do something above and beyond Champions League places, it's highly unlikely because we'd have seen more signs of it by now. But while there's games to play, there exists hope. And while hope exists, I am not going to totally and utterly flip out and lose my head. Or at least I'm going to try my best. Right. Fuck. Just buy someone, Liverpool. Anyway, thanks so much for everyone who's stuck with us on this one. Look, as ever, trying times for Liverpool. I say this before and I say it again. We've been doing this a long time. I've seen Liverpool win everything. I've seen us be dreadfully shit. I've seen us be much worse than this. Much worse than this. Much, much, much worse than this. With much worse players and much worse managers and all that kind of stuff. But I know that we all need help. And I know a lot of you, and I'm joking about Pink Fluffy Whale, you might not have people around you who can help you. We can help. We can be as close to you as we possibly can be. We've got shows. We've got podcasts. We've got our Club Legend Discord chat. Social media is a cesspit. You can't get comfort from there because it exists for people to vent, and that's fine. Everyone needs to vent, but if you need a safe space, you need to escape from it and just talk our way around it. Then do join us for the rest of the content. Chris is doing player ratings. That I don't know. I have no idea how that's going to go. Me and him will be doing instant match reaction, and then tomorrow morning, I believe it's Steve doing the final words on Redmen Plus. And look, we've got you covered. We've got podcasts. We're rebooting the content in the coming days and weeks. We've got some big things coming on Redmen. We're going to try our best to be the best that we can be, and try and get through this, because we can't stop being Liverpool fans. If you can, all I'd say, if you've got the ability to stop being a Liverpool fan for a bit, do it. Protect yourself. Go. Save yourself. Most of us, the vast majority of us, have no choice. We're here. This is our football club. We've just got to fucking stick it out. And we're going to try and help you through that with as much of our YouTube content, podcast content, and of course the stuff on Redmen Plus. So thank you so much for joining me. It's shit, but it means that if it's bad, it can only get better, theoretically. Right, sound. I'll see you all in a bit. Ta-da.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching that show. Did you know if you go over to redmenplus.com and sign up as a Club Legend subscriber, you will get access to our amazing Discord chat, 20% off merchandise, live tickets every year for free, plus all our incredible content, and you'll get absolutely everything right as it happens. So get over there and do it.